Hi friends, it's Terry from Vig's Test Creates back with another video for you. Today I'm going to be making, well I say today, it's probably going to take me several days. I'm going to be making a mini album using this landscape album die set, which can also be used in portrait, which is how I'm going to use it. So it's going to be tall and slim rather than short and wide landscape. I've made a MIDI album before, so this is all by Helen Griffin, Simply Made Crafts. So I made this album using her MIDI album die set. I'll just give you a quick look at that because I haven't got a video on my channel of this, I don't think. I think I showed it briefly in my intro part 2 video, so I'll put a link to that up now so you can see that. But I just had so much fun making this, and I say this is the first album that I'd ever made and I loved it, and sort of couldn't bear to give it away. So so it's sat here in my craft room on my shelf, and I've been because I loved that so much, I bought her landscape album die set as well, so I could make different size, bigger ones. So basically there's the landscape album die set, which has got everything you need to make the pages, and it's got some add-on elements and things. And then there's also this additions die set, which has got loads of pretty things like pretty corners and pockets and all sorts of things. And I've used some of these because I'd bought the MIDI album die set, but I'd also bought the landscape edition set for some reason. Because, like, for example, this die is this one. So I really like this set. It's got loads of things. I mean, it's got like really big, beautiful, nice scripty font dies in there as well. So it's really, really versatile. And then in order to make the album, there's a large binding system and a small binding system. So if I were to make it in landscape, I would use the small binding system. But because I'm going to make it in portrait, I'm going to use the large ultimate binding system. So I think I bought this in a bundle when it was on special offer. And if you've watched my recent video where I made the hat box, this one, which I made and said I would use for craft storage, which I am. I'm using it to store my glitters and also my shimmer powders. So you can see how much it holds. I'll put the link to the video of me making that up now as well. So you can check that out. But I used this beautiful A Grand Day Out paper pad, and I think this will be perfect for an album. I think it's so classy, and I love the muted tones and the pinks, which as I've said in a few recent videos, I'm really sort of drawn to pinks and corals and things at the moment. And it's got 24 single-sided sheets in here, so I could actually use these to make the pages, but I think instead what I'm going to do is use this sage pearlescent cardstock to make the pages, and use these to make and to make the pockets and things, and then use this to decorate it with, so it'll stretch this a bit further basically. There's two other things that I might incorporate into this album. One is this Legacy Keeper Creator die set from TONIC Studios, which I got in one of their recent mystery bundles, and it creates this little folding sort of memento keeper. Obviously, you know, this is to fit in TONIC memory books, but I mean, I still think I can use this in this memory book. I think that'll look really nice. And I've also got, I can't remember what brand it is, and I couldn't find it initially but I've got like a waterfall mechanism. And again, I know I have a waterfall mechanism in the mini album die set because I used that. So I'm not quite sure but this is just a sort of introduction to sort of what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, there we go. There's quite a bit of die cutting involved. This big die here makes the covers and the pages, and you need to die cut that 8 times. And then like this is a mat for the page. Yeah, there's quite a bit of die cutting to be done, and then there's lots of planning and around what type of pockets I want and all that business. So I'm going to turn off the camera at the moment, go and do a lot of die cutting, and see you in a moment when I've progressed a bit further. So I'm back, guys. I've cut out all of the pages and the spine and the mechanism to fit the pages. I've cut all those bits out, and I thought I'd turn the camera back on so you can see how it's made, how to construct the landscape die, but in portrait mode. So as I said, I use the large ultimate binding system, which allows you, it's got these little notches on, so you can basically make the height of the album to whatever height you want it to be, but 9 inches is the one that I saw Helen demonstrating recently on Craft World, and 9 inches is also the perfect height for the mat that's provided, so it just seemed logical to me to use 9 inches. So what I'm doing at the moment, as you can see, there's also the score lines in here, so I'm just folding them and then reinforcing them with my bone folder. And whatever size album you're making, I say the one I've made already is a midi. The actual mechanism of making these albums is the same. So you basically have this mechanism, and then there's 3 of these little things that I'm using my bone folder on at the moment that sit in the middle, and that you attach the pages to. So basically one will go there, and then the other 2 will go either side of it. You can either use glue or red liner tape. Glue is handy because it gives you a bit more wiggle time. So if you're not that confident, you haven't made that many, or you just have a preference for using glue, then either is fine. I use both, and I probably will use a mixture of both in this. But yeah, so they fit in there like that, and then I'll just score one of these so you can see so I can demonstrate, and then I'll turn the camera off because you don't want to sit here watching me score things all the live long day. But I'm glad I've chosen to use this paper. I mean, it recommends on the instructions to use patterned paper, but in my last one I used craft card to make the body of the envelope, and then patterned paper to make the inner pages. But on this one I'm just using this pearlescent paper to make all of it. Okay guys, so I've realised why I was so confused. It's the reason I was thinking, why that's gonna look weird on there, like because of the flaps. The thing is, you have to cut out this other panel which perfectly matches onto this panel. So this makes the pockets, which then slide on to the opening. So both it makes both the covers and the internal pages. So basically what I'm going to do now is glue all of these onto all of these. So again, you don't want to see that, so I'll see you again in a mo. Okay guys, so I've just assembled all of the pockets and they are currently drying. So next comes the part of making the binding system, which will enable all of the pages to be adhered. So again, I'm using a strong liquid adhesive for this. You could also use red liner tape, but again, the strong liquid adhesive gives you a bit more manoeuvrability time. So the first one goes directly in the centre of our mechanism. So that will go there. That looks pretty central to me. Hold it up. I think I've got that where it needs to be, so I'm just using my bone folder to press it down to get the glue good and adhered. Right, I think that's pretty central. So then we put the next one, we put them either side of the middle one. So again, same process. Like I say, Helen Griffin does have tutorials of how to do this on her YouTube channel, Simply Made Crafts. So you, if you're interested in this, or you've recently bought one of these sets, you might want to go and check out her channel. It's full of tips on how to do it. So that's what I did. So I would recommend you do that too. Right, so is that equidistant? I think that's equidistant. Maybe this one's slightly higher. Pull it down a little bit. I think that's equidistant though. Yeah. So again, use the flat end of my bone folder to press this down a little bit. This Nouveau Deluxe adhesive that I'm using does adhere fairly quickly though. Not quite as fast as Cosmic Shimmer, which is another one of my glues of preference, but I thought it would be useful to use this just because it does actually give the extra wiggle time, and they're both equally as strong, so in my experience. And I'm not going to be posting this video until after the 14th of April, because I'm going to enter this, if it turns out well, this is one of the things that I'm going to enter into the Card Maker of the Year competition. So that's a competition that runs every year, and 4 winners are chosen, and you get a share of supplies, and also a spot on the design team for some papercraft magazines, which would just be absolutely amazing. So I've got there's so many talented card makers and paper crafters out there, so I think the chances of me winning are pretty small, but hey, you've got to be in it to win it. So, and like reading like other people that have won in the past have said, I never thought that I would win. So I'm like, well, why not? Let's just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing. So that needs to dry for a little while. So I shall be back with you shortly. Right, friends. So I've given the spine a bit of time to dry, but I just wanted to show you how to attach the pages. So basically, you for the covers, so it's going to be the covers first. We put glue on the outer flap, all along there. And also on the inside. And then, so this is because we've glued the panel onto the panel with the tabs, it's got this sort of pocket element. So you basically slide that onto there and make sure that it's lined up. So we want it lined up right with the edge there, and we want it, yeah, so just lined up with that edge all the way along, so it's straight. And once we're sure it's straight, we can give it a good go over with the bone folder. And then basically with all the other pages, we just make sure that they're, every time we put one on, we make sure that it's aligned straight at the top and the bottom with the cover. So Helen normally does it so that she puts both covers on first. Make sure that they're aligned. Therefore, I shall do that. Easier if I turn it upside down, but I just need to remember that which way to put the pocket on the right way around so that I don't have it facing upside down. Although you can choose to glue the top of the front page shut if you want, so it doesn't have to be a pocket. Just trying to make sure I've got glue right up to the edges, because you can always wipe it off if it goes over. And it dries clear anyway. Right, so on the open end at this end, so we already got glue on my finger. I'll just wipe on my top. Is that there? The house top. So I want that lined up better than that. Get in there. I want to make sure it doesn't go over this seam here as well. We don't want it to go inside there. Oh, I am making a mess with the glue. It's all right. This will all be covered up with the spine anyway, so that's fine. It's not going perfectly, but you know, there's always ways that you can fix little imperfections in crafting, and I think that's part of the challenge and part of the fun of it. But yeah, so that's both covers on. As far as I can tell, they're both even. What I've just done off camera is I've used my bone folder to sort of do this a few times and sort of flex these backwards and forwards, because obviously these are going to be the things that the page is attached to, so we want the pages to turn nicely and not be stiff or anything. So you know, you can see obviously it's quite sturdy, and in fact I'll just do it a few more times so you can see what I've done. And then I'll attach another page for you to see, and then that'll be it, just so you can see the lining up process. But then that'll be sufficient. You don't need to see me gluing in the rest of the pages. Just trying to get enough in here to show you so that you get a good understanding of how it's constructed. but obviously not wanting to bore people with information that you don't need to know. Let me know in the comments as well, are you sort of a seasoned album maker? Have you made quite a few albums? If you've never made an album before because you've been daunted by the prospect and think it's just looks and would be way too complicated and out of your depth, that's exactly how I felt. So please, you know, if you feel like that, but you want to make an album, just go for it. I personally really recommend, and say I'm not getting paid to say this or anything, I love Helen Griffin's Simply Made Crafts album die sets, because as the name suggests, they are simple to make. The instructions are clear. She always has tutorial videos, and that's when I actually like made my first mini album. I don't think I even had to read the instructions really, or I just sort of glanced at them, because I felt like I just knew how to make it because of watching all the tutorials. So we just want to make sure that this lines up with the bottom and the top, and before we press it down, that's what we want to do. So is it lined up with the bottom and the top? Yes, it is. Just about. Does it need a wiggle? Does it need a little wiggle, or is it okay? I think it's okay. Yeah, it's not poking out over the top or anything like that, so I would say that's grand. So we can use our bone folder to reinforce that. Grand. So that's how you do it. And so next I'm going to add on all the other pages, and just follow the same process, making sure that each one as we go along is lined up with the top and the bottom. Okay friends, so all of the pages are now adhered, and it's starting to look like a real book. It's quite exciting. I've just rounded the spine a bit by just using a pen and sort of doing this with it to round it a little bit. And I have stuck red liner tape, so the really strong stuff, onto the edges that will attach to the front and back cover. And I'm going to stick that on. So, as well as using the red liner tape, I'm also going to add a bit of adhesive, liquid adhesive, just because it gives a bit more wiggle room. So, a bit more wiggle time. So, just to make sure we get it lined up properly. Just a few dabs like here and there along the length, in any gaps that I missed. So want it to go here, right up to the edge. And the same on this side. Oh, not quite. There. And there, yeah. That's worked. So let's get my trusty bone folder. And again, because I used the red liner tape, that should adhere really, really well. A slight little overhang there, but not too worried about that. Can always trim it off. It's teeny. Is there an overhang on the back? It appears to be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Or maybe it could have gone up a tad, like fraction of a millimetre higher there, but it didn't, so that's fine. And then it will go like that. So it's all coming together, guys. Very exciting. So it's been ages since I made my last mini album. I've been doing mainly, well, around Christmas time, so like Christmas 2020, and the months running up to that, I was making a lot of handmade gifts and gift boxes, and I made many Christmas cards. So I didn't really have time to make anything like this, because I had to spend the time making gifts for people. But now it's nice to have the freedom, the creative freedom, to be able to sort of do whatever I want, really. I mean, I've just got my Mother's Day cards for my mum and mother-in-law done. It's very difficult for me to speak and do something at the same time, which my husband will tell you. Here we go. That's... Is that too far over? A little bit further over, but I don't think it matters. I think it would be a right mess to pull that up now anyway. I think that's good enough. So there we go. We've got the bones of an album there. Oh, let me just move the camera up a tad so you can see better. Yeah, the bones of a lovely sage green pearlescent memory album, which I'm going to use those gorgeous papers to add on to. I am just going to trim very carefully just around the bottom, just because that hangs over a little bit, which is just because of the way I've positioned it. But oh well, it wouldn't be crafting if everything was perfect, would it? So I shall see you shortly when I've done a bit more. Bye. Hi guys, so I've progressed quite a bit since I last saw you. What I did, I went through my speciality card and paper stocks, and I found a bunch of cards and paper in different colours, mainly pinks, greens. There's some questionable ones that I may or may not use. But yeah, so some speciality cardstocks and speciality papers that I thought would go with the patterned paper that I had chosen. So what I then did was I used the die to create, let me show you. So there's a die, well actually no I didn't. I looked at the die and figured out that the measurement was 6 by 8.5 inches. So I went through the pack of 12 by 12 that I had and cut myself a sheet for each page, and because it's 12 by 12 and this is 6 at the bottom, it was really handy actually. It's going to sort of increase the amount that I get out of it, because it's obviously cut into 2 and then cut at 8.5 inches. So then I've got like what, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3.5 inches left at the top of each, and that's, you know, you get 2 sheets per pack. So I went through and I picked you know, things that I liked and thought they would look nice, and thought about the orientation that I wanted them in the book, and I've planned out how I want them to be, so like which ones I think will look nice next to each other in the book, trying to sort of, you know, not have 2 really busy ones next to each other, so I wouldn't have like that one and like another really busy one next to it. So I've got a nice soft one, then a busier one, and then another busy one. So yeah, I wouldn't have that like next to the previous page. And I want to keep the front and back pages the same, so I've used this for both sides, but on the front page I've got it in that orientation with the flowers in the bottom left. But I'm thinking I might have it in this orientation for this way, because it still looks nice that way, you know, because these flowers are pointing upwards. So I think it's variable. So at the moment I'm thinking I'm going to have it that way, but that may change. And then I've done some extra things. So I mentioned that there was another die set that I had planned on using, and that was this one. So it's the Gemini Waterfall card creator. So basically it uses this main die and then this matte and layer and this die to create a waterfall element, and then you can add that either to cards or to memory books. And I've created that, and I cut out some pull letters, which is Cirrus lowercase ones from TONIC Studios. So I cut the mechanism itself from the Blue Frost pearlescent cardstock from TONIC, and then I cut the mattes from the same Sage Green, and then the layers I used obviously I cut out nice little pieces from the cut-offs of the card that I had, and this is what it looks like. So it works and everything. And I was watching the demonstration, it was saying, oh, you might have to sort of do it a few times to get it to work properly, but mine just worked like straight away, so I was really pleased with that. And then I've added on to the bottom this strip die memories from this Bright Rosa die set. So it did come with the edges like that, but it would have took it over the margin of the page, and I wanted to sort of keep everything in within the margin of the page. Another page that I've created is these two. So these are the first 2 pages of the book. So I used the large pocket from the Editions Landscape Editions die set, using Burnished Rose tonic cardstock, which is like a beautiful matte sort of dusky rose colour, and then I matted that with one of the, I really love this patterned paper, but again it's one of the ones with the least amount of stuff on, so it wouldn't clash with the busy background, was my thinking. And I've got there's some really quite large tag elements within the various sets, so I'm going to create some of those and pop them in there. And then this is actually from this die set, Treasured Sentiments Shadow Frame die set. So this is a set from TONIC Studios. There's 3 in the bundle. There's the one that's essential to have, which creates the main shapes here. And then this is one of the optional ones. The other optional one gives you that, which I do think is also really pretty, but I haven't got that. But I got these in mystery bundles. But what I had noticed is I looked on the back and I saw this panel, and which is made using this die, and I thought, oh, that's gorgeous, like, and that's a lovely size to sort of fit within my album. And it's got various words here, like the one panel's got admire, treasure and embrace, and the other panel has got family, success and memories. And so I thought that the second one, the family, success and memories, would look really pretty. And so I was thinking about colours, so I've picked this blushing pink pearlescent card, and then this spring silver card, both again from TONIC Studios. You guys know that I'm a paper and cardstock addict, but I'm really pleased that I'm actually getting to use it for this project. I'm really taking my time with this project because obviously I'm going to enter it into the competition, but B, it's just so nice to just really take my time over something. It's, you know, and just plan out every element. So I cut these elements out and stuck them onto that, and then I was going to stick it just on there. Or I was thinking, oh, actually, I could put that maybe on the front, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the front cover yet. But then I thought, yes, it would be nice to have it just stuck there, but then it doesn't really provide a function. So what I decided to do, oh, and I was also thinking about, shall I put some card behind it and make it as like a drop shadow? So then I came up with the idea of making it into like a little card. So, you know, the first page, you open up the book, and then you've got this this beautiful element on the first page: family, success, memories. Because obviously, you know, it's a memory album or a photo album, or, you know, that's the plan. So, you know, straight away that, you know, the recipient could write things in there. You know, this is a memory book all about our trip to blah de blah, or this is a memory book all around Christmas, blah de blah. So yeah, that I decided to do that. It's very early days, but I'm just really enjoying myself, so I wanted to share a bit more of where I'd got up to. So I'll turn off the camera now, and then I'll see you back in a short while with some more progress. Bye. Hi guys, so I've progressed quite a bit further with my memory book. So I'll show you where I'm up to at the moment, and then I just wanted to show you a little something in particular. So this is my first page. I'm just to make sure that everything is in shot, because I've got so much stuff on my desk. It's unbelievable. Right, so I'm usually such a tidy crafter, and this is kind of tidy, but yeah, it's one of them. Okay, so first of all, I know what I'm doing for my cover now. So this looks a bit bent, but it'll be fine once it's stuck on. It's just because it's 350 GSM card and 240 GSM, so it's quite thick. I guess, you know, it's instead of using grey board. But basically, the front of my album is going to be like this. It's going to be very elegant, and I cut out these sentiments from Bright Rosa, and 3 of them in 300, it's 300, not 350, 300 GSM white cardstock, stuck them together, and then I've used fine detail gold embossing powder over the top, so they're really quite chunky, and I really like the look of it. So basically that's what the front of the album is going to look like. I'm going to have to add another spine, because if you can see, it's sort of starting to crack and peel in places, and I think that's maybe because I scored it too much, or yeah, so I'm going to have to respine it, but it's fine. And I die cut the shape and then the elements to add on, so family, success, memories, and then I did a partial die cut. Well, I folded a piece of card and then did a partial die cut, so it left the seam, so you can open that out and write notes in there. And then in this page we've got a nice big pocket. The next 2 pages we have both opening mechanisms. So this one says open, that's remember, which is the inserts from this. So I cut this out, remember, and then piece together all of these little individual bits there, and I did a ruler line underneath there, and then I had to rub it out afterwards, and there was loads of these little petals left, and so to try and continue the theme on, I've been using them in some places. I found that these were wanting to sort of keep opening, so I did add some tiny little magnets to each of these. This one is remember the good times, and I cut out the word special. Again, these 2 words are from one of the previous Tonic craft kits. This little floral motif is in one of the sets. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's not turned out as well as I had anticipated, but I used some Nouveau glossy accents and in the flower petals, and then I add Nouveau glossy accents, Nouveau aqua shimmer pen, and then I added some Nouveau, what is it called, crystal glaze, so Nouveau's version of Ranger glossy accents. But it doesn't look as good as I hoped it would, so I think I might either add some glitter in there and some more of the crystal glaze, or I might put some colour in there. So yeah, maybe some pink or something to sort of brighten that up. I've got another little corner pocket here and a little die in gold. So it's like I have introduced the colour gold now into the palette. I've got some of the reason I've got a load of dies out on my desk is because I'm planning on using them. So this is one of the things, I'll be cutting these tags out, multiple of them, so you can put like a few in there, and then I'm going to attach some ribbon through it so it looks quite nice, but I think it would benefit from something up the top, so something like that. In fact, I might do that. I might cut out memories and then back it in vellum. I think that'd look quite nice. Right, remember that, Tez. Remember that. The next page I've got this set which I've never used before. I've got it in a bundle when I first started out crafting, and it's all of these page dies. So the left side doesn't cut, but it's a really good size. So I picked this one and made that flat. And I used the open and this is from the Eternal Bascule die set. And then I've stamped a special day and then put some highlights around it using a I love this pen. It's the Jelly Roll, the Sakura Jelly Roll pen, the sparkly one. So it's got like a gold sparkly bit. And the ink is pistachio. It's a Nouveau hybrid ink. And then I used some poppy pink embellishment mousse on a little stencil to do this butterfly. And then for a bit of variation, I added some Nouveau sparkle spray to the bit of poppy pink embellishment mousse that was left on my table, and made it quite slightly darker. So I've got some little butterflies around the foliage, so you know, people could stick a photo there or write a few words. All of these I've left them open because I am going to be putting cards in there, note cards, and then there's some pull tabs in one of the sets, so I'll make pull tabs for it. So there's nothing on that page yet, nothing on this page yet. This one I've got a little tuck point to put again little things in, but I used a Grand Day Out. This is a stamp set from Simply Made Crafts, a Grand Day Out, and this, and heat emboss that in gold. I've also used a Special Day somewhere else along the way. So again, you can lift that up and maybe put a photo there, and you know, if someone had a nice day out somewhere, they could put a photo in there, and then you know, add some you know, ticket stubs or something like that. Nothing on this page yet, but what I'm working on at the moment is this. So this Legacy Keeper Creator die set. So it's basically, you need an A4 die cutting machine to cut this because it's huge, but it folds up really small. Take that out for a moment. So basically, this is what I've done so far. So I've created that for the front, which is a really beautiful die. It's got some debossing and obviously it's cut out some words. And then I've put some strips of card behind it to highlight the words because you couldn't really read it. So this is gonna live on the last, so this is the last page. So it's gonna live here. And then so you open it up, and then I've created that. And then you open it up again, and then you get these 3 panels. So I've used this die. I'm going to use this same die on each of them, and then probably the same die, because there's lots of different interchangeable dies that you can use, but I'm just going to use this floral one on all of them, just because it fits the theme. Hi friends, so I'm now in the final stages of completing my memory album for the competition, and I have enjoyed every minute of this. I have put my heart and soul into this, and I've made every page different. So you'll have seen some of this earlier on in the video, but I've made multiple tags using different dies from the sets that I've shown you. Some of them I've put I've used my crocodile to add some eyelets into. I've used the same cream coloured ribbon on all of them to create sort of consistency and continuity throughout. I've also stuck to the same card stocks, so yeah, to try and sort of tie things together. I've added that since I last filmed a bit, I think. Some memories there. Both of these flaps have magnets on to keep them closed, which I just love the sound that the little the magnet makes. To sort of bling up this flower a bit, I used some tonic crystal glaze with Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen, and then it wasn't quite blingy enough, so I added some Nuvo glitter as well to that. Again, a couple more tags. I've gone for 2 different sizes. I mean, this technically isn't a tag, but it is the same size or similar size to the largest tag, and there's nothing to say it can't be a tag. So I've used it creatively, and I've done that. I've sort of used, I love this set, these little scribble hearts by Tonic. There's a large heart and a small heart, and then a little flower. And again, another memories there. This has been layered up twice. This one, a special day, and then we've got 2 butterflies. I showed you that before, I remember. I added a belly band here, and a little tuck point to hold tickets. And so I've put these things in here, but this is more just sort of an idea. You know, if you're giving, obviously I'm entering this into a competition, but if you're making something to give to someone, you know, these are sort of suggestions. You know, they could write on there like, oh, this is the time we went to Harry Potter World, or to this gig, or, you know, we took the children here, or whatever, and then put in like the ticket stubs and stuff in there. And then also each of the pages I've made one of these inserts for and put a pull tab on the top. I've added this, a square pocket. And I'd cut out, this was the middle of, what was that the middle of? I can't quite remember why I cut that. But anyway, so I had that, and then I've added, you'll notice that there's a bit of a shimmer on it, so I added some poppy pink Nuvo embellishment mousse to that, just with my finger, and rubbed it over. I've layered up this this decorative element and drawn on it with some Sakura Jelly Roll pen, the shimmery one, and stamped Magical Moments. The Magical, I think, is from a Lawn Fawn set, and the Moments is from a Tonic craft kit. Again, another little heart, and that's the inside of the heart. So I've tried to make use of everything really, and not let anything go to waste. Another tuck point here, which again, it looks quite, I've basically, it's got a flap there which I've adhered behind the paper, and then glued that all down, and then I added a thin strip of double-sided adhesive. So, you know, you can get a few things in there. It is delicate, but, you know, if you're careful, it's fine. And then I made another waterfall element. This one is from the Simply Made Crafts kit, using Tonic Bubblegum Pink Craft Perfect, and then I've added on the speciality papers that I've used throughout, and that just closes like that. Because obviously this is optional, but if you don't use it, I found that they were sort of flapping up a bit, so, and it just looks nice. And again, I used I made a pencil line so that I could add the letters in a straight line, and then when I went to rub out the pencil mark, it rubbed off some of the gold, the coppery gold colour. But actually I thought that looked like a really nice rusticy effect, so I sort of went around and did it to more bits. And then there's this, which is the Tonic Legacy Keeper Creator die set. And it opens out like this, and then it's got 3 individual little pockets, which are all the same, which I just think is the cutest. And then this was one of the, because there's various different panels that you can choose. That's one of the things I love about Tonic dies, is they always have lots of different options to choose from. And the love that I used on there was from here. So again, I'm trying to not waste anything. And then that just ties, I just tie that carefully in a little bow. Tie that back up. Make sure it looks pretty. There we go. And then I really wanted to use this die. I've been wanting to use it for a while, and I just thought it would be perfect for this memory book. So I did some paper piecing. I basically cut the die out of 4 different cardstocks. This one, the Blue Frost, this one, the Spring Silver, and the Burnished Rose. And I put this one down first, and then inlaid the pieces, and then I added this one over the top to finish it off, which I think looks really cute. And again, I've put 2 tiny little tuck points here, and again I've used like the middles of the leaves that came out of the die cut to put along here, just as a little extra finishing touch. So there we go, that's all of the inside done. So now the next step is to attach the ribbon, attach the front and back panels. Again, for this will provide added strength and security. You can use grey board, but I wanted to use speciality paper, and then I've used this thick card, so that will go on there. I think I must have scored, it's either I've scored this score line too much and it's caused it to feather a bit, or whatever, for whatever reason anyway, that looks a bit tatty and I think not fit to be sent off and entered into a competition. So with my last sheet of this cardstock out of the 24 pack, I've made a new spine which I will add on at the very end, and all I did with this was just very gently folded it, so I haven't scored it, and then I've just gently sort of done that. So yeah, once that's on there, we will put this on there and then have beautiful memories. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'll do that, wish me luck, and then the next thing you'll see is the completed album. So see you in a mo. Wish me luck. So this is it, my friends. I've actually finished it. It's quite weighty. It's quite packed. I adhered another spine like I said I was going to, and there's no rough edges. I stuck the front panel on as I said I was going to, and had a bit of difficulty sticking this down because obviously this is raised slightly higher, so I did put glue on all of it just in case any of it was touching. But you seasoned crafters out there will know that it is tricky gluing things onto mirror card because the glue wants to go everywhere and make it look a right mess. But obviously I had to put a decent amount of glue on because theoretically it's only these two end bits that are actually keeping it secured. I mean, I don't know, actually I think it is stuck a bit down here. This one obviously was easier. And then I realised that I didn't have the tittles. I didn't have the tittles for the eyes. So I've used these little sparkly, hunky-dory little gems. And then on the back, I used TONIC die set and made this little plaque, this handcrafted, which I think looks really lovely. And I stuck the ribbon down using red liner tape, and also collal glue, which I know is really strong. And then I adhered the whole of the front panel using thick red liner tape and also collal glue. Now it's not perfect. Unfortunately, it hangs over a bit at the bottom and doesn't quite go to the top. And the other way, the back cover, it's the opposite. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do to remedy that really, because if I cut that off, then it's going to end up being shorter than that, and it's just gonna. I'm just chalking it up to the fact that this is handmade. It's handmade with love and blood and sweat and tears. Well, I'm being overly dramatic. It's been a pleasure to make this. I've really, really enjoyed it. So basically, you open it up. This is just going to be a quick run through because you have already seen all of this. I haven't added any extra elements. Opening flaps. The pull mechanism. Couple of there's a tuck point and a couple of note cards. An open, a place to write some words or put a photo and write some words. Another tuck point with some cards in there. Another tuck point. I'm really proud of the fact that I've managed to make every single page different. That was really important to me. You know, so with a bit of creative thinking, I was able to do that. So yeah, here we go. And then that is it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There's going to be a lot of editing, so it's probably going to be quite long. Obviously a lot's gone into it. But yeah, so if you've enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed but you like what you've seen, then please consider subscribing, and then you'll get to see my upcoming makes. And as I said, I do post regularly, usually twice a week, sometimes more if I'm feeling particularly creative and have bags of time on my hands, then I'll post extra ones. So thank you for sticking with me through this, and take care everyone, and see and speak to you soon. Bye.